Thank you, David.
You're welcome.
Melissa Schulte is the network coordinator for Aging Best. She has worked in the nonprofit arena for more than 20 years. Based in Columbia, Melissa has worked to provide and increase services throughout Central Missouri. She is excited to share a little about the ongoing services and new programs Aging Best is providing to older adults in our community. Melissa, you have the floor.
Thank you. And thank you all for having me. I'm really excited to be here, particularly with this group. Very happy to be here. And so we kind of already talked a little bit about that. Aging Best is formerly Central Missouri Area Agency on Aging. We've just had a new name and a bit of a facelift due to some retirement over recent years. We have a lot of a new team, and that new team hit the ground running, not only looking at what we could do to improve or expand upon the services that we already have, but what we could do to create new, really innovative services and programs for older adults in our area. A little background, if you're not real familiar with us, Aging Best covers 19 counties throughout Central Missouri. We go as far as Pulaski, one direction, Phelps County, over to Gasconade, over to Montauk, and then all the way up to Cooper and Audrain. So we have a pretty big circle that we're covering. We have about 140 employees. When I say 140, about 140, I use the word about because we have a lot of people out in the field that are part-time on an as-needed basis. So that can change as the weeks go by. Probably the thing that we are best known for is the senior centers. What a lot of people don't know is that we actually provide the staff and administration for more than 30 senior centers in our counties. The staff in those centers are hired by us and are actually members of our team. So thus, the really big team. Our local offices, we have one in Columbia and one in Jefferson City. And in those two offices, it's not a lot. We probably have 15 to 20 here and maybe 6 there. And then the rest are out in the other counties. And our senior centers are still similar to what they used to be. If you're not familiar with a senior center, it's a place you can go to have on-site meals, indoor dining, and our cooks are fabulous. A lot of it is really fresh home cooked food. And then there are a lot of activities that are provided. But like so many other organizations, we were really hit hard when the pandemic started, because with us, we primarily serve people who are 60 and over. So pretty much all of the people that we serve are considered to be in an at-risk group. So we had to put our thinking caps on and look at what we could possibly do. And the first thing we did was we closed the indoor activities and dining in the centers. That happened throughout all of 2020 and into early 2021. And hang on just a second. I just realized I need to get a timer on. Otherwise, at 2:30, I will be sitting here talking about all the things that we do. So anyway, our senior centers moved to doing curbside dining. And we don't like to use the word drive-through because there was a lot more involved, but they would create the meals, make the home-cooked meals, put them in to-go containers, and then you could drive up and get your meal. And they tried to make it as entertaining as they could. Our centers did a lot of, as you drive through, you're participating in different activities and guessing games and things like that. So that was a really good thing to keep everybody busy. But we're back to having the dining rooms open, and let's hope and pray that we're able to continue with that. As of now, they're still open. And then the other thing that we do out of our senior centers, Aging Best does a home delivered meal program, and we deliver on average around 55,000 meals every month to homebound. When I say homebound, a lot of them are really, really homebound. People who live down in the river bottoms, and we have staff and volunteers that drive out there. And it's a lot more than just getting them meals. It's great to know that they got that nutrition, but it's also an opportunity for them to see someone coming by the house that you can chat with for a minute and, catch up on if you don't have anyone else. And it's also the opposite. It's the opportunity for someone on our team to lay eyes on them and look for those red flags, like it's December and she's got the air conditioner running on full blast and wearing a coat in the house. Maybe there's some dementia starting or something going on that needs to be looked at. Maybe the person is just not looking healthy. So at that point, our community options and services team is notified, and our community options and services team does anything senior related that you can imagine. They work with Medicare and prescription plans. For a lot of people, navigating that system is a really big deal. If you never did it, particularly a lot of people in the older generation, a lot of ladies that grew up in the 50s didn't ever work. They worked inside the home. And so saying, hop on the computer and figure out how to do this is a lot. So they're able to walk you through that. And then they also do transportation, legal services, utility assistance. We look at things like caregiver support. If you're caring for a parent or sibling or friend or neighbor on a regular basis, you do need a break sometimes. So we do help with respite services and just looking at all types of support. So this is just a very, very brief look at what we've done for years. The services are endless. If you call and look for something and you are a senior or are looking for help for a senior, we're going to be able to either help you with it or get you to someone who can. So that moves us on to some new programs that we're doing. And the first one I want to talk about is our Rover program. We know that pets have a huge impact on the outlook and the quality of life for any age, not just older people. They really tend to just make us happy and give us something to look forward to. But with a lot of seniors, the cost of caring for the pets, I know I spend a fortune on mine. She's like my child, and I spend a fortune on her. And if you are living on a Social Security only budget, and particularly if you're senior or if you're a single person, it's really hard sometimes to get that pet food and pay vet bills or boarding or flea and tick meds, whatever you need. And so this program helps with that. And how it originated was, there were situations that we were running onto where the person that's taking the home delivered meals out is noticing that Mrs. Smith is not looking well and she's weighing about 80 pounds, but her Chihuahua's weighing about 55 pounds. So something's not right. And you can guess where I'm going with this. A lot of people in that situation were feeding part of their meals to their pets. And so with this program, we are able to bring in supplemental pet food when they get their own meals dropped off. They get supplemental pet food for their pet. And it not only, benefits them as far as their own nutrition and nutrition for the pets, but once again, it's a way to build relationships because, when they're stopping by going, oh, I brought something special for Sparky today. How's he doing? It's something to talk about. And it's something that really means a lot to them. And then in addition to that, we're working with veterinarians who offer free boarding. Situations where that would happen and why it's needed is we have had different older adults who maybe they needed surgery. And as the months go by, we're going, you really need to get that foot surgery done. And they're saying, no, I can't leave Sparky. I don't have anywhere to leave him. I can't afford to pay for that boarding. And so that being said, we got different vets that said, I would be willing to forego that cost and whenever those situations happen. And so another thing with that program is that we also do flea and tick meds, and Second Chance partners with us for Boone County, and they are absolutely amazing, everything that they do. And they also are working with the Spay and Neuter Project to help with that as well, to look at some of those seniors that have these pets. Maybe they haven't got that done, and now there are 13 cats roaming around their house. So they're looking at helping with that as well. And then the food bank also helps us out a lot with our other counties and pet food that has rolled into them. So the next thing is kind of pet related too, but this one's a little bit more out there, so keep an open mind. We started working with a robotic pet program this past year. And the robotic pet program, I hate the word robotic, but we didn't come up with it. We partner with someone else who does it because it doesn't sound very warm. But what we have are pets that look like stuffed animals, but they do so much more. The cats meow, they purr when you touch them, their heads move, their eyes blink, they roll on their back and want you to scratch their belly. The dogs bark, they're sound activated, so they're looking at whoever's talking. They will bark if you don't give them attention and try to get you to pet them, and then their heart will start to beat and their tail will wag. And the plan for that program was, it would go to people who maybe are lonely, they can't have a pet in their apartment or where they're at, but this is something that holds their attention. And it's just, I've heard from so many that it's just comforting to, while you're watching TV at night, to have that pet on your lap. And when we started the program, I am more marketing and communications and that type of work. So the people that are our community options and services team, and they're working directly with our clients, they provided the list of who they thought they should go to. And so I'll tell you one little story about it because it really sticks with me. When I went to deliver them, I actually delivered because the program, otherwise I handle everything else with it. And I started driving out there and I looked at the list or the names and I realized that it was a husband and wife. And I started thinking then, okay, I don't know why they did this, because to me, this needs to go to a single person who's lonely. Husband and wife can talk to each other and keep each other company. So I drove out, and today I'm going to call them Dale and Alice. And I drove out to their house, and Dale was waiting out front for me, possibly one of the most adorable humans I've ever crossed paths with in my life, just a very kind man. And he said, I'm so excited to see you. I've just been waiting for you to get here. And he said, Alice is in the house, come on in. So we went in, and in the recliner was a woman. She was laying there covered up. And he said, Alice, there's a lady here and she has something really special for you. I can't wait for you to get it. And she looked up at me, but it was one of those situations where the person is looking at you, but you know that they're really not seeing you. Something's not connecting. And so I just went ahead and turned the cat on and set it on her lap. And she just went crazy, talking to it and so happy. And I did get a little emotional during it in front of him because he kept grabbing onto me going, look at her, she's so happy, she loves it, I can't believe it, she's so happy. So when we got a chance to be alone, I learned that Alice after 62 years of marriage, Alice had a stroke about 5 years ago, and it left her both physically and mentally very incapacitated. And at this point, he was caring for her round the clock. He does have some services that come out and help, but as he put it to me, I wanted my sweetheart to stay here with me. As I said, it was an emotional day. And he said, I wanted her to stay here with me, but it's very challenging. And each day I still have to go out and feed the farm animals. And so I carry her out to the truck. And then I try to find books to keep her busy while I can watch her while I'm out there. And he said, now I can leave this cat with her. That will keep her busy. And since then, I have talked to Dale numerous times. The program also includes a lot of follow-up calls and looking at how things are going. And he has told me that she loves it so much that several times a day she'll say to him, honey, she needs to go outside. And he said, I'll just take it, go in the other room and bring it back. But that shows that she really sees it as a real pet and a real companion. So it really showed me a lot that people in that situation, it can really make a difference for. And I have several others that are in that situation as well. It's also been a good companion for people who deal with a lot of anxiety or depression. Again, it's something to hold on to. And so today, you guys get a treat because I actually kept one of the pets with me and brought it up here just for you to get a taste of what they look like. And as we start to pet her, I don't know if you can hear her purring. If it's close enough in sound, she will begin to purr, and eventually, she'll want attention. She will eventually lift her paw and lick her paw. She will try to get your attention and roll over on her back to be scratched. So I absolutely love this program, and we present those to the people that get them at no cost. Right now, we're in a situation where that program was done through assistive technology and a partnership with KU. They actually helped us here in Missouri as well. And they gave us the dogs and cats for free. But at this point, we're down to just a few cats that they have left, and there are no more dogs. So it's now on our donations wish list. And when we get into Como Gives this year, the plan is to get a bunch more and maybe look at, they have different types of pets. So then we'll be able to actually pick our own and choose what colors we want and what types we want. So that's one more program that's going on. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about our evidence-based workshops. We've been doing evidence-based workshops forever. We do Tai Chi and Tai Chi for arthritis, which is really cool. We do Matter of Balance, which helps people with balance issues. It's not medical. It's not there to cure the balance issues. It helps you with things like, how do I stabilize myself, when a fall's coming on, or how can I make my home friendlier for me at this point where it might be a little safer for me. And then we also partner for Walk with Ease, which helps people learn to do a walking program on their own. Keep Your Keys is one that off and on happens. It's not going on right now. That program helps people, as I said, learn to, should we be keeping our keys, or, do we need to hand them over, and to teach them things about that maybe have changed, like learning about the J turns, what's that mean, or our, whatever we call it, diversion, diamond, or whatever, things like that, learning, okay, maybe that wasn't around years ago, here's how you drive in that. So we also do a program that we call Living a Healthy Life. It used to be called Chronic Disease Self-Management Program, but it really doesn't sound like a lot of fun. So we moved to Living a Healthy Life, which sounds better. And that program is for anyone dealing with a chronic ailment. It could be migraines, they could be diabetic, they could have anxiety, depression, just anything that they consider a chronic condition. And what's new about it is that this year we opened up a workplace edition, which is for offices or community service organizations that they can take it as a group, and it's a Zoom that they do once a week for I'm not 100% positive. It seems like it was 6 weeks, and everyone logs on at the same time. So you're like, if it was in this group, we would all see each other like this. And I decided to take the workshop just because I'm out here, I do presentations and meetings all the time. So I thought it would make it a lot easier for me to describe to everyone if I actually took it. And I planned to sit in there and take some notes. We got a group from work together, and I used obesity as my chronic condition. I've been on a diet since probably 1975. So the probably lost thousands of pounds and gained them back over the years. So that's really a chronic condition that's affecting my health and well-being. So I got in that workshop, and I am not kidding you, I got so much from it. It was fabulous to see that my friends and coworkers are dealing with the same thing as I am. I have insomnia like crazy, and hearing how many of my coworkers have it and people sharing tips of, oh, I've tried this, have you done this, was really good. And then beyond that, there's a lot of things that you do as a group just to stabilize yourself. You have to set goals and things, and those goals aren't medical. They were things like, learning to, in order to relieve stress, to say, by next Friday, I'm going to get that bedroom painted. It's been half painted for the last 6 months, or that report that's on my desk, I'm going to have it done by so-and-so date. It's time to move it. So it really helps you with your goals and helps you learn to better function. And again, I can't say enough about it. So if you know of anyone interested in either version, just the regular version or the workplace version, any type of workshop we do is always free. There are never any charges for anything. So that's something that we're doing that's fun. And then another program we've got going is our home modification and home chore programs. Aging Best's goal is always to help people age in place, as we say, meaning that people age in their own home. And it's not for everyone. I myself am excited at the thought. It's right around the corner for me, for maybe to go into those cool senior apartments where they do everything for you and I don't have to pay the lawn guy anymore and all of that kind of stuff. But that's not for everyone. There are a lot of people who really, really want to stay in the home that they're familiar with. They know their way around it. They feel safe there. They raise their children there. They live there with their spouse and they want to stay, but maybe they need some help. So the home tour program will come in and we'll be able to do things like lawn care, or maybe they just need help with the dishes, or maybe they have a little trouble getting downstairs to their washing machine now, and someone can come in and help them with their laundry weekly. And all of that is done at no cost. The home modification program is exactly how you would imagine. That's looking at things like maybe there needs to be a bar installed beside the bathtub, or maybe they need a ramp out front. Just things that you could modify in the home that could make it safer and make it possible for someone to stay there. And as you can imagine, the requests for that are through the roof. So we look at that as on a most needed basis. Say if, Mrs. A came in or called in and she just got put into a wheelchair permanently. She knows that she's not going to come out of it, and she does not have any ramp to get down her 2 front steps and get the mail. And then we have Mrs. B who calls that says, it's getting a little harder to get up and down my front steps. I would really like to look at maybe getting a ramp. Obviously, we're going to go with Mrs. A. So we try to look at who needs it most. And the team of volunteers, we're always, working with volunteers. So that's good that hopefully we'll be able to get a lot more volunteers that want to go in and help with those types of situations. And then the next program I wanted to mention is our SNAP program. So how many people here know what SNAP is? Oh my goodness, I can't believe it that we have some, because my background, before I came here, I spent my last 6 years at the food bank. And so I was always, working directly with nutrition services. And the rest of the country moved to calling food stamps SNAP, which is the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, probably 15 years ago. But for some reason, Missouri cannot let go of food stamps. And so many people don't know what SNAP stands for, that's what it is. And, not just here, but during my time working with programs there, I know that older adults are the hardest group of people to get to take food stamp assistance. There's a stigma about it. That's some of it. Some of it is envisioning food stamps themselves. I have people who say, oh yeah, no, I don't want to go to the store with those. It's that booklet that you tear them. That was in the 70s. That went out a long time ago. What you have on with food stamps now is an EBT card that looks just like your debit card from the person who's in front of you when you're shopping may be using food stamps because they're swiping a card. And we're trying to inform them about that. And also applying for them is a big thing for seniors. If you've ever worked in social services or, taken family or friends or gone for yourself out, especially here in Boone, it's quite an ordeal when you go out. The line is often long of everyone's going to be in that same lobby waiting. There's usually an armed guard there as well. And they're always waiting for whatever type of services they're getting because the caseworkers are all in the back. So you got to wait till it's your turn and you're let in. And if you are, a 87-year-old woman who maybe is using a walker and has not really gotten out any since your husband passed, and this is your first time to go somewhere and ask for help, it's very, very scary. So the way that the SNAP program works, our program is actually the senior SNAP program. The way that works is that they can call in and a member of our community options and services team can get them through this all by phone and mail. They will never have to go in to a social services office. They will have a series of, calls or information that's done by phone. They actually have something they have to sign that gets mailed to them. And then they will receive their card through the mail. So it's really good. A lot of times it's not a huge amount. I have a lot of seniors who it's, maybe $15, $20 a month, which doesn't sound like a lot, but there's that extra little jump to get some extra fresh meat or produce or whatever you wanted. And I, in the past, have had people tell me that, you can let your card go, you can let things build up on it. So what some of them would do would be let it build up. And then when it gets to Thanksgiving, they are able to use that card to go and get what they need to actually be able to say to the neighbor or the kids or whatever come over, I'm fixing Thanksgiving dinner like I haven't done for years because I've been on a really, really strict budget. So I like that program a lot. And kind of similar to that program, we have the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program. And that program is a USDA program. And how it works is anyone who qualifies, there is an income eligibility for it. And it's not real tight. It's, it's fairly broad. And if you qualify, you can get up to $50 in farmers market vouchers. And those vouchers can be used for farmers who sign up for the program. They actually have to sign up that they're going to take the vouchers. And this year it has moved to roadside stands as well. So if the fella that sits on the corner with the tomatoes wants to sign up for this, he can, and then he can take those vouchers when they come in. And the way that they get the vouchers, they are actually 10 vouchers of $5 each. So they don't have to use it all at once. The other thing with that program that I really like a lot is that it doesn't have to stay county specific. If you live in Mexico and you like the farmers market that we have here a lot better, and your kids come over every weekend and they go to this farmers market, you can ride along and you can use your vouchers here. So, that's a big deal, not just here. I mean, we have a lot with Boone, Cole, Callaway, but when we get down south, a lot of our more rural counties, there may not be a farmers market in their county. It may only be in, a farther area. And to kind of try to help with that, one of the things that we've done, USDA has helped with this as well. We have set up some pop-up farmers markets that are on the parking lots of our senior centers. So it wouldn't be as much. It might only be like 3 or 4 farmers that come in and set up, but it's open to any age. It's not just open to the seniors. Now, only the seniors can use that voucher, but anybody could come. So, if their daughter or son-in-law says, hey, I want to go, let's run over there. It's right here in town and it's here for 2 hours today. They can go, and it's a chance to get a lot of fresh items. It's not only fresh produce. They can also get the honey or nuts. I can't remember what all is included with it, but the goal is still nutrition, which we're always trying our best to push. That's a struggle sometimes, even with those that get the home delivered meals. They're going to eat what's in that meal, but they may not get out and go buy a lot more fresh items to snack on. And so, it's a beginning. And that program only runs from June to October 31st. So we're winding it down, but it will be back next spring. We'll start again. And it seems like it usually starts about May. They start signing up and then they can start using their vouchers June 1st. So the next thing I want to talk about is something that, and I'll do questions too, some at the end, unless you need it right now.
I understand that SNAP has recently been increased by 25%. They've decided that what was before, it was what we ate in the 50s, and now they're moving to more healthy food, and it will be 25% more.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up, because yes, that is part of it, is that they have not moved forward like so many, incomes have changed and our knowledge of what's healthy has changed over the years and what affects us. So yeah, that's a really good point. So the next thing I wanted to bring up is a program that I'm doing right now. It's another presentation that I hope that someday you'll invite me back to do it, because I absolutely love it. It is my #1 favorite presentation I have ever done, and I've been a presenter for other organizations for many years, and it is called Dementia Friends. And the program, it's a global movement that started in the UK, and we really thank them for that, because right now we know that the good news is that people are living longer. We all have that going for us, so that's exciting. But along with that, the prevalence of dementia type illnesses is going to be much bigger. And so what this program does, it's an interactive program that I actually have graphics and all that go with it and videos. It helps us learn how to recognize the differences in normal aging and signs that we should be concerned about. I mean, I'm guilty of, I can't find my keys. And, I used to, if I can't find my keys, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's in my family. I'm having early onset, it's here. Why am I forgetting the words to that song? I just know. And so this tells us the difference in those things that are just normal aging that happens to us. And a lot of things that we really probably should be more concerned about, not just with ourselves, but with our friends and our neighbors. And part of it, this is a program that I do for businesses as well and community support organizations, because we want people to learn how to better respond to their customers or their clients or their patients or staff members. And, it could be helpful even for the girl that's sitting at the front desk to know that, when Mr. Jones came in, he's my favorite. He comes in and pays his bill every month, and I love to see him. But when he came in yesterday, he was just downright rude, and I cannot believe the things that he said to me, what was happening. This is a common sign of dementia, that sudden personality change. So these are things that would be great for that receptionist to know about and to look for. And one of my coworkers told me that she, for a while, worked at Menards, and that she remembered a man coming in that she just noticed, he seems a little aimless, but it doesn't really look like he's looking for something specific. And she knew enough about it and how to approach him just from the job she did back at that time, to go up and approach him and talk to him and manage to get him where he needed and then back out of the store to the person he was with. Because the thoughts are, had she not done that, reached out to do that, maybe he would have wandered into the back, into the warehouse, and, people might have been yelling at him or calling the police, or he could have gotten injured. So this just helps us recognize and understand it's not medical. It's not a medical class. It's a social, more to learn the social end of it. And also the tips of when you do come into contact, how do you respond? What are the tips and the ways, the things that help that person understand a little bit better? And so, yeah, it is a blast. Everyone that's in it just really, really loves what they get out of it. And it's ongoing. And of course, as everything else, it's a free 1-hour presentation. So I did want to bring that up. And then one other thing that we're doing, we do a lot of telephone reassurance. We've done that for a while, where we have volunteers that come in and they call and check on people who are homebound just to see how they're doing. And this last year, we took that to the next level and got volunteers, not just from our senior centers, but I started, going to churches and other places trying to get more volunteers. And we set them up with a specific person. And how it worked was, they had a specific time that they chose, like every Tuesday morning at 9:00, I called. And the program went on for like 6 weeks. And it was really neat that one of the things that is a problem, we all know or I hear from people that are retired, the days sometimes get to run in together when you're not having to go to the office at so-and-so time and having the same appointments. And I found it myself just with, I worked at home for a year and a half. I just got back to the office recently. And it was the same when I'm, at home and I'm working in my pajamas half the day. It's like, I'm not, I don't know, I don't have so much to look forward to. So doing this, it gives that person something to put on their calendar to go, okay, all right, one more day, and Linda's going to call tomorrow morning at 9. And I have so many things to tell her and talk about. And then we also prepare the volunteers for red flags as well. Some questions to throw out, have you done any new recipes lately? Have you done a lot of cooking? And when that answer is, no, I really haven't had any appetite at all. I've probably lost a few pounds in the last few weeks. That's one for that volunteer to maybe report back to our COS team that, someone might want to check up on her. And then we also have a virtual tablet program we use that's very similar, where we did it through a grant. We have a whole library of tablets, like iPad tablets, and we can take those out and they can, we can help them do a FaceTime call with their kids in California, or if they just want to look at things on the internet. It's not about teaching them that they have to learn to use the computer or the internet. We will do that for them. And I know for me, I kind of get a chuckle out of it. The number one thing that I get asked is to look up their high school boyfriend or girlfriend. They want to look and see if I can help them. They'll give me the name. And I'm really good at investigating, looking at all the different social media and places and try to find that for them. A lot of people like to look at their childhood home or school and see if it's still standing, and I'm able to show them the Google Map picture of what it looks like now. So it's just about socialization and helping people everything we do is about keeping people more active and social. And so just one other thing I want to give a shout out to is we do a program where we do cards and letters, Christmas cards and letters that we get out to, I'm talking thousands and thousands and thousands of seniors during the holidays. And we have a lot of schools that work with us. And so what they might get is, it may be the only card they get, but it might say handmade and say, hope you're having a great day. Merry Christmas from Susie, grade 4, or from Linda, so-and-so church, things like that. And so we're always looking for that. If it's something that you know of anybody that's at home and just looking for something to do, as the holidays get closer, give me a call and, I'd love to hear from you. And so I could go on for another 30 minutes, but I'm going to stop because time is going by and there may be some questions. Hopefully I can answer them. If they're very detailed about the actual service, I don't do that. So sometimes I don't know, but go ahead, David.
Yes, I'm not familiar at all. Hadn't been familiar with the Area Agency on Aging before. Is it under an umbrella group? Is it part of another group?
Yes.
Nationwide thing?
Yes, we are. In Missouri, we are under the Missouri Area Agencies, the network, Missouri Area Agencies on Aging. We call it, or the association, we call it MA4. And so in Missouri, there is an area agency on aging that covers everywhere. So, and if we wouldn't have been on Zoom, I have such wonderful graphics that show it all, but I have a thing about, I hate presenting where I'm in half screen and I like to, be able to focus frontwards. So, but how it works is there's one that covers all the counties around St. Louis, and then we're Central Missouri. And then there is one that's in the southern area and one that's in the western area and one that's in the northern area. So everywhere in Missouri is covered by an area agency on aging. We all do things a little bit different, but we do pretty much provide the same basic services, the types of assistance and, covering the senior centers. That is done by each. And then those added programs that I've talked about today, those are just things we've done. Probably some of the others are doing that too. Again, we're all sisters to each other, but due to COVID, nobody gets to get together for group meetings much anymore. Yes, Sue and Herb.
Just so there's no confusion, I'm Herb, not Sue. Anyway, how many clients on an annual basis does the Central Missouri agents and employees contact face-to-face on an annual basis? And in addition, how many such contacts per person is average per year?
I really don't know. It's funny you said that because just yesterday, my supervisor and I were saying we need to pull numbers and we need to look at all of that because we're getting able to get out and give presentations again and give it. I can tell you, I mean, it's in the thousands and hundreds of thousands. It's big. Face-to-face used to be all the time, but now it's really, really changed. And there's a lot more phone calls. We have part of our community options and services team is a group of in-home specialists that actually go to the homes of people that can't get out to provide these services and meet with them. But they've kind of had to be, looking through the door or making a phone call lately. So whenever I get that, if you want, I'll send it. I have Kathy's email and I'll send it to her, the latest report. And then you guys can see, but it's a big number. Yes, Pam.
This may be just a rumor, but someone told me this morning, we were discussing that you were coming, that now you are with Services for Independent Living has come under your umbrella. Is that?
No.
Okay.
Not at this time. We do, we work together a lot.
Sure,
we support them and they support us because we cross a lot of clients. But no, at this time, they are not under our umbrella.
Okay, thank you.
It could be something that's in the works that I haven't heard about, but no, at this time, I know they're not.
Okay.
Alvin Plummer.
Yes. What sources do you use to identify potential clients?
We get a lot of referrals from other healthcare agencies and social service agencies, but we're always out there, just like I am today, trying to get the word so as people know to call us. And most of it, I would say a huge amount comes from seniors calling us themselves. But again, we also get a lot of referrals. We work really closely with a lot of healthcare agencies who they may be providing some healthcare, but while they're doing that, they're seeing, okay, I think that this person also needs some help with their home, or she needs transportation provided for her, or, we need meals for her. So it's kind of it's a lot word of mouth, but it's also a whole lot of referral from other social services agencies. Sue?
Follow up.
Go ahead, Al.
And I asked that to determine word of mouth can be problematic in terms of diversity of service. How diverse is your service?
How diverse is our service?
Yes.
It's very diverse. When I say we're working with a lot of agencies and with a lot of people, it is a very diverse group of people that we're working with in all of those platforms. A lot of the agencies we partner with are very, very kind of diversity specific is what they do. And they reach into certain areas or communities that maybe we didn't get into, like it may, they may reach into a community that speaks another language that we might not have reached, but because we're partnering with, Central Latino, they're able to reach in and say, hey, let me connect those people with you and see what we can do to interpret. And that is constantly expanding. It is something that when the new team came in that was really looked at a lot was, how diverse are our services and what can we do to reach more people that maybe, didn't feel welcome or didn't know about us just due to maybe a bad experience in the past. And so we've really reached out, and that's going really good. I love all the people that we're partnering with right now to really expand the services. Okay, yeah, Sue, you were the next one.
I just have a quick question. It seemed to me that some of your things have a income determination. For a single person, is there a limit as to what is the amount that they have to be getting less than?
I don't know, because it's different for different programs, because different programs fall under different wings of, maybe this grant funded this one, or maybe this service is through USDA. So those things are set differently. They're not all the same. And it would be something that you would have to call to have the person call, and then our person on the other end would immediately, when you get to the community options and services, they immediately look at everything that you would qualify for. You would hit this and this and this. Do you need help with this? Do you need help with this? That's something they do is screen. And again, I don't work directly with the clients, so.
Can you provide us a telephone number in case we want to?
Yep.
We want to refer
I sure
somebody.
can. Yeah, and
I
in
need some help.
fact, I'll try to put that in the chat box. Yes. Carl and Mari.
Ari, yeah, I just have a quick question, and then Carl also has a question. I've always been confused about the senior center here in Columbia. It seems to be different than the senior centers in other places. Is there more than one senior center in Columbia, and what is your involvement there?
The senior center here in Columbia is not a senior center that's under us. They used to be, but every senior center has its own board as well. And even though we may be, paying for staff, they still have to keep the lights on, and they still need to fundraise and do those kinds of things. So each has their own board. And it actually was before I came on. We have a lot of specific requirements that you must abide by to be under our wing. And I think there, at some point in recent years that that board did not want to continue to do that. And this happens sometimes with senior centers. We're doing pretty good right now. The fundraising's looking good, so we can pay our staff, and so we don't, need to be under your wing. So yes, it may be different than ours. We used to be upstairs from them until just recently, and made the move to where we could be on ground level and have a lot more space. But
so is there a senior
no,
center that serves the low-income people like the people you serve in other communities? Does Columbia have that available?
Yeah, I don't want it to get sticky, but I would assume that senior center, like all senior centers, would be serving all people, but I don't know for sure, because again, they're not under us. But all of those community options and services and the home delivered meals.
That's how it's listed in their website.
Yeah. And the home delivered meals.
They have an 800 number.
We still provide that out of, or we still provided that out of that senior center. So we do a home delivered meal program and all the other services for Boone County. And we actually did, until we just made the move, we actually still used the same kitchen over there and worked right together with it, just not the actual senior center inside their activities and everything we didn't do.
Okay. And then Carl had a question as well.
Just a question, some information as well. I've been in contact with your group that is Aging Best, and with Mary Ellen Osher, however you pronounce her name. And she called, and I tried to get in contact with her that way, wasn't able to, but did respond an email, because she was talking about something that I'm very interested in, and a lot of the community is as well, housing. And there are some new initiatives and whatever And I gave her some references with the city with respect to housing experts, the lay of the land and so on. So I guess what I'm asking is how is that, and I can give you those resources as well. I responded by email this morning, but what is your group doing with relation to housing for some of the for some of the aging folks and so on?
And that's one that I can't answer because that's more a Mary Alice question. Mary Alice is our senior independent living specialist. Is it the first ward and the fourth? She's got a couple of spots in Boone County specifically she's working with.
First and third wards.
First and third, okay.
Yes.
And so she does that. As far as, again, I am more marketing and communications, and also whenever someone needs those specific services, then it goes to them. She might know a little more about that. And if not, Trish Luther, who is our manager for community options and services, would know a lot more about what's going on. I know that we do a lot with housing as far as we the home delivered meals and the services that we provide. We actually go on site to a lot of Hackwan and Oak Towers. That's one of the routes that happens, as well as down into some of the other housing areas. So I don't know as far otherwise getting people into housing, what we do as far as that is, if it's just a referral or if we're more involved with that. Again, it would be, I wish I knew, but it would be more beyond me in direct services.
Well, thank you for that. I'll develop that contact and get back to this
Yeah.
group with respect to housing. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and she's fairly new, and I think she's really, really ready to hit the ground running. Yeah, David?
Yes, a question. Where does the bulk of your funding come from? Is this a government agency or are you privately funded?
It's a mixture.
Okay.
It's a mixture. We do receive some funding, some federal funding, and then we also do receive a lot of donations as well. And we do a lot of grants. So many of the programs that you heard about today are coming through grants. We're always applying and, trying to get more. Anything else? We're doing pretty good. We might actually end by 1:15.
I guess
Follow up on David's question. Then, because that was what I was going to ask, then you're not really a state agency.
No,
You're
we're a
private
nonprofit.
Pardon me?
We're a nonprofit. We're not a state agency. We are a nonprofit, just like the food bank or Goodwill or Red Cross or any agency like that, where it's a mixture of a lot of different kinds of funding and community services, as opposed to Department of Mental Health.
How do you solicit donations then?
Well, we have on our website is actually getting ready to, a new one's being launched behind the scenes. It's getting ready to be pushed pretty quick. And so that happens, but a lot of it is us being out on the road. We do not have a specific fundraising team. It's just a lot of what we put out there when we're on the road. And then we do participate in different types of things. As I mentioned, Giving Tuesday and Como Gives, things like that we try to participate in and see what we can get. And hopefully this year we'll do really well. Last year was kind of a beginning for us to be a part of that group. And right about the time that it was time to start getting ready to put the word out, my supervisor who was working that with me went on maternity leave much earlier than expected. And then I picked up a lot of new things, and then COVID was hitting and we were figuring how can we scramble to do this. So we weren't able to really give the attention to it that we wanted to. But this year we have been able to a lot more. So I'm hoping that that really gets us a lot of help, because some of these programs, we would really like to be able to keep them going. And you never know, when you get grants, sometimes it's great. Sometimes they will offer, you'll be able to get that again. And then sometimes you can't. And it's sometimes it's just because the funding's not there. The organization that offered it may not have that available. So yes.
I've got another quick one. It's the Aging Best. It's all dealing with seniors, I guess. Is there an age limit for your programs, or does that depend on each program?
It depends. Mostly it's 60 and over, which we would love to see that go down, but some of the funders, that's specific that it has to be that way. But some of the programs like our, I mentioned the workshops, it doesn't matter if you're under 50, if you have a chronic disease that would, that you want to get help with. So it really depends on the program, but overall 60 is that line of determination right now, which hopefully that will change in the future, which we've seen that happen, just like, that hope of breast cancer screenings, that they'll move that number, and colon cancer screenings, move that number to a younger age really needs to happen. So it's the same way with us. Hopefully nationwide, they will kind of move that when we need to start looking at senior numbers back a bit. That way we're already in good health and prepared by the time we hit 60.
Are there any other questions? I think we're about out of time, but if we have another last
Mary
minute.
Jo, did you have one?
Thank you.
Mary Jo, did you have a question?
She's muted.
Oh, you're still on mute.
Yeah, you're still muted, Mary Jo.
No, I had a question about following up on Mari's question, because your website makes it appear that you are the facilitator of the local senior citizen center, but I think you responded to that already, and it's time to go. So thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Well, I will. Sue, you got a quick one? Go ahead.
I was just trying to say thank you. I had no idea it was way so extensive. And I was familiar with, there used to be 2 senior centers, and one was the one that you folks sponsored on Old 63. And it was the Country Club Senior Center and the other senior center. I like the other senior center, but anyway, I'm glad that you have such a wide spectrum of programs. That's fabulous. And I'm going to refer one friend.
Well, before you cut me, one quick thing that you just made me think of. I was doing a presentation just about a week ago, and before I started it, a man came up to me, it was an in-person one, and he said, will you be sure when you're talking that you tell that senior centers are not for low-income people, that they are for everyone? And I looked at him like, what? Because, and it was a rural county. I didn't know that belief was there, that it's one way or the other, because in the majority of our counties, it is a blend. It's people that are retired and living better than I ever will and just wanted to get out and socialize. And then it's people who also came in because they really, really needed a meal. So it is a blend. And, what happens with, each county, we never know. There could be new programs or senior centers opening at any time. It's just, again, we're living longer. So, yay for that.
Thank you.
Thank you all
Thank
for
you so
having
much,
me.
Melissa. Appreciate it. You being here with us.
Thank you very
today.
much, Melissa.
All right. And remember,
Thank you,
everyone, thanks you
Melissa.
all for being here. Remember, next week, our speaker is going to be Tori Greer, from Boone Health. So come back and visit us.